Hello and welcome to the second part of the series where we look at some of the changes and additions that Elden Ring is going to add to that classic Soulsborne formula. Last time we discussed guard counters, spirit summons and the Ashes of War. So a change you may be familiar with if you've played Sekiro is the addition of stealth mechanics to the game. So these function much as they did in Sekiro, allowing you to get a stealth kill on an enemy if you can manage to sneak up behind them undetected. So this is quite strong, but you'll also find that when you encounter groups of enemies in the open world, one or two of them will have a trumpet that they can use to alert the entire group to your presence. And while you're exploring the open world, you'll often come across enemy camps that will have large concentrations of enemies. It can be very useful to use stealth to reduce their numbers. You can see that even though I was detected by this enemy, because it's not one that alerts the camp, I'm able to continue to sneak up on enemies. Elden Ring, being an open world game, has a much larger map than what we're used to from previous From Software titles, so at a certain point in the game you get access to the steed whistle that you can use to summon a mount. And you're also able to fight from horseback, so as you can see here with the bow and with spells, but also with melee weapons like swords and lances. As you'll probably notice here, there is a drawback to using spells, as you have to slow down to cast them, whereas you can fire your bow at full gallop. Elden Ring adds the ability to craft items such as arrows using resources that you can find in the open world. Elden Ring adds a number of new PvP items. So the first two we're going to look at are the white and blue rings. So when you use the blue ring, it makes you a hunter. And this means that whenever a host uses the white ring to call for aid, you can be summoned into their world. When summoned as a hunter, you'll have a blue glow around you. So this host must have used the Taunter's Tongue, which opts you into being invaded. So clearly they've been invaded by two different invaders at the same time and have used the white ring to call me in to help them. You'll see once we finish off these 2 invaders, the 3rd will show up, and it's not until all the invaders are defeated that I actually return to my world. So if you find yourself beset by invaders, call out for aid and the hunters will answer. For after all,
a hunter must hunt.
you can use the tarnished furled finger to set summon signs that allow you to be summoned for co-op. Now in the network test these were limited, so if you set the summon sign in the open world, you couldn't enter dungeons when summoned, and vice versa. If you set your summon sign within a dungeon, you would only be able to co-op within that dungeon. And the other way to set a summon sign is to use the duelist's furled finger, which creates a summon sign that will allow you to be summoned as an invader. And the alternative is to use the bloody finger to invade without a summon sign. And the other PvP items are the red and gold effigies, so these can be used to send your summoning sign to a local summoning pool. It's just to make it easier to find summoning signs in the open world. When summoned as a co-op partner, you will get runes for killing enemies, but you won't be able to pick up any items, though you can interact with the world in other ways. For example, here you'll see I use the bow to deactivate the fire pillar here. So to finish off this video, I'm going to show exploring in co-op in a slightly smaller dungeon, and then we're going to take a look at summoning from the host's perspective.